and welcome to the Roadmap for Breastfeeding Success. My name is Jan Tedder, and I'm a family nurse practitioner and a lactation consultant, and I've had the great privilege to work with babies and their young families for 30 years. An increase in breastfeeding initiation worldwide indicates that now most mothers know that breastfeeding is best for the baby. They want to breastfeed, but still the majority of those mothers do not yet meet their breastfeeding goals. There continues to be excellent research about the demographic, social, biological, and psychological variables that impact breastfeeding. But this program will draw attention to an often overlooked variable impacting breastfeeding duration, and that is a mother simply misunderstanding and misinterpreting the normal behavior of her child, and also misunderstanding normal changes in milk production through the course of that first year. Behaviors that can be misinterpreted by mothers as evidence that breastfeeding is not going well include a newborn who looks away from his mother, increased crying at 2 weeks old, difficult to wake up for feeding, the restless sleeping of a 1-month-old, temperament issues such as hard to calm down, the distracted 4-month-old who looks like she wants to wean, or frequent awakenings at night when separation anxiety kicks in or a baby begins to walk. Normal breastfeeding changes, often interpreted as a breastfeeding problem, include changes in the sensation of the breast filling and emptying, and changes in frequency of stooling in the older baby. Because the majority of lactation services are offered in the early days and weeks of breastfeeding, and because women often give up breastfeeding before seeking help, we need access to ongoing systems of communication and support to educate mothers throughout a baby's first year of life. This program will offer the medical, lactation, and child development literature used to address these issues, and will give you practical tips on how to incorporate these ideas into your work with young families. All of us know what it's like to prepare for a journey, and sometime a teenager or young adult may think that it's fun to take a spontaneous fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants journey. But most of us find that it's worthwhile to plan a trip so that we can both enjoy the experience and get where we're going. The analogy of needing a roadmap at the beginning of breastfeeding, I think, works well. Drawing on the Infant Feeding and Practice Study 2 and on Dr. T. Berry Brazelton's INBAS and Touchpoints work, the roadmap identifies times when surges in a child's development may cause changes in a baby's breastfeeding pattern and or cause a mother to misinterpret her baby's behavior. If we give mothers information about what lies ahead and where to get help if they need it, that mother is more likely to continue breastfeeding and to enjoy the experience. I think that you will find this online program to be very user-friendly. You won't need to take many notes because I've provided all the notes for you. This program's come and go format is really designed for busy professionals. Because I understand that we all learn in different ways, this program provides a number of different teaching strategies. You will have video lessons to see, which include both memorable graphics as well as video clips of parents describing their experiences with breastfeeding and solving the common problems along the way. You will be directed to read several blogs which will supplement your learning. And because we know that music enhances emotional learning, you will be surprised to see some music videos that teach child development concepts. After the lesson, you will have 1 or 2 feedback questions to answer. This will just assure that you're on track with your learning. Finally, after completing this course, you may receive, if you wish, a weekly e-newsletter for 6 weeks. These e-newsletters contain a brief case study that show how a breastfeeding mother needed and benefited from the information you will learn in this course. I want to finish this introduction by sharing with you one of my favorite Hug Your Baby stories. Several years ago, I was asked to visit a mother who was having breastfeeding problems. She was in the home with her husband and her 3-week-old, and just said that she had had a very frustrating couple of weeks. The baby was growing well and having 6 or 8 stools a day. Mother was fairly comfortable breastfeeding, but she shared that she just thought her baby didn't like breastfeeding. When I asked her more about this, she described that when she would be talking to her little baby, that the baby would look away from her. And as we will discover later in the course, this gaze aversion is a very common newborn behavior, but one which is frequently misunderstood by mothers as a form of rejection. So as part of my interaction with her, I discussed this normal newborn behavior, as well as pulling out my little rattle. I held the rattle up and shook the rattle, and the baby looked at the rattle going this way. Then the baby looked at the rattle going this way. And then I held the little baby up and had the mother call her daughter's name. And when she called her name, in just a moment, that little baby turned her face right to her mother. To my surprise, this mother came to my clinic 3 years later so that her daughter could have her yearly checkup. She said, "Remember me? You came to visit me when I was having some breastfeeding problems." And I went, "Yeah, I remember. Well, how did that turn out for you?" I asked. And she says, "Oh, well, it went really well. My baby breastfed till she was 18 months old." And I said, "Isn't that wonderful? Well, tell me, what did you learn about breastfeeding that day that I came to visit you?" And this mother kind of laughed a little bit and said, "Well, you know, I didn't learn anything about breastfeeding. But when you shook that rattle and my baby looked one way, and you shook that rattle and my baby looked the other way, I knew my baby was going to be all right." That is such a wonderful story because it reinforces this idea that if we help parents understand normal behavior, if we demonstrate a baby's remarkable capabilities, that their confidence will be increased and their breastfeeding will continue. I wish you well as you journey through the roadmap to breastfeeding success.